We call it progress because the graph goes up, even if the ground below is cracking. The funniest part, we think we're advanced. Advanced at what? Charging cables? Updating software? We can't even remember passwords, but we're planning to colonize Mars. Mars, a planet where nothing grows and everything kills you faster than rent prices. We can't get along on one planet, so the solution is, let's ruin another one. Humanity's greatest punchline is always, it'll be different next time. Technology was supposed to make us smarter. Instead, it just made our mistakes more efficient. We used to mess up one relationship at a time. Now we can ghost 5 people before breakfast. We used to argue at the bar. Now we argue with strangers on forums about people we've never met. We've turned interaction into sport, emotion into emoji, and empathy into bandwidth. And people think they're evolving. We say things like, we're more aware now. Really? Then why are we still destroying things that keep us alive? Why are we inventing robots to feel emotions while humans can't handle theirs? We've got artificial intelligence getting better at understanding us, while we get worse at understanding each other. If that's evolution, then the joke's on us. Every era thought it was the peak of civilization. The Romans thought they'd last forever. Now we use their ruins as backdrops for travel photos. Someday someone will dig up our smartphones and say, they must have worshipped these rectangles. And they'd be right. We do. We bow to them, touch them first thing in the morning, whisper secrets into them up. Adam, they know more about us than our families do. It's not a tool anymore. It's a diary with spyware. But that's human nature. We create gods and then complain they're too powerful. We wanted convenience, now we can't live without it. We wanted connection, now we can't handle silence. We wanted control, now we're slaves to updates. Every invention comes with a hidden leash. And we wear it proudly as long as it vibrates every few minutes. What's really funny is how people act like they're self-aware while doing the exact opposite. You see folks posting quotes about mindfulness right after a 2-hour argument online. They'll say, protect your energy, and then scroll through 12 hours of bad news. It's not hypocrisy, it's habit dressed up as enlightenment. Humans are experts at saying one thing and doing another, and we call that maturity. And don't get me started on trends. Every few weeks there's a new one. Cold plunges, gratitude journals, moon water, intermittent fasting for your soul. We treat spirituality like software updates. Have you tried this new meditation app? Yeah, it's just breathing with notifications. We're so desperate for meaning that we'll buy it in bulk if it comes with nice packaging. We're the only species that makes life harder for itself just to prove it's living right. You never see a squirrel trying to optimize its nut collection. Animals don't need calendars, diets, or motivational quotes. They just exist. Meanwhile, we turn existence into an obstacle course and then hire consultants to teach us how to run it. You can't make this stuff up. It's perfect natural comedy. Even our emotions are marketable now. There's an app for stress, an app for sleep, an app to remind you to breathe. As if breathing needs encouragement, we're outsourcing basic functions to technology because we forgot how to trust ourselves. We don't feel feelings anymore. We schedule them. I'll process grief on Thursday between my spin class and dinner. That's not growth. That's emotional bookkeeping. You look around and the funniest part is that everyone thinks it's just them who feels lost. Everyone's pretending they've got it figured out while quietly panicking they don't. But that's the shared human experience. We're all confused, all uncertain, all improvising. We're all on the same stage fumbling our lines, hoping nobody notices. The problem is, everyone's too busy performing to realize the whole audience feels the same. We become a parody of ourselves. We preach authenticity, then spend hours editing it. We chase peace by arguing about it. We demand truth, but can't handle silence long enough to find it. The world's like a group project where nobody reads the instructions, but everyone wants to be the leader. And somehow, it still keeps moving forward. That's both terrifying and hilarious. It's not that people are bad. It's that they're absurdly human. We laugh, we cry, we mess up, we overthink, and we do it all with such enthusiasm that it's hard not to admire the chaos. Humanity's always been a mix of brilliance and nonsense, wisdom and confusion. The difference now is, it's all happening at once and in public. The blooper reel became the movie, and we're still buying tickets. And yet, for all the madness, you can't help but love it. There's beauty in the absurd. We screw up spectacularly, but we also forgive spectacularly. We overreact, but we also overlove. We ruin things, then rebuild them. We break hearts, then write songs about it that make people cry on purpose. We're ridiculous, but we care. Somewhere in that contradiction is what makes us worth watching. The comedy of modern humanity isn't cruelty. It's the contrast. We invent miracles and then complain about them. We dream of unity but can't agree on pizza toppings. We search the universe for intelligent life while ignoring the neighbors we already have. It's messy, it's maddening, but it's undeniably alive. You see, maybe that's the secret we keep missing. The joke isn't on us, it's for us. The universe isn't laughing at humanity, it's laughing with us. Because despite all our noise, confusion, and contradictions, we're still trying, still reaching, still stumbling forward with hope that maybe, just maybe, we'll figure it out. People don't share experiences, they pitch them. Here's my trauma. Please like and subscribe. The line between sincerity and self-promotion dissolved the moment we turned confession into currency. Even art got noisy. Every song, every movie, every podcast yells for attention. Subtlety died when volume got a marketing budget. You can't just tell a story anymore. You have to scream it, remix it, hashtag it. Creativity became competition for screen time. Artists used to whisper truths that made you lean in. Now they shout slogans that make you scroll past faster. And all the shouting, what does it get us? Confusion. Collective confusion. We've got access to every piece of information humanity ever produced. Yet people argue about whether the earth is flat. That's not ignorance, that's distraction wearing a diploma. We built a Tower of Babel made of tweets. Oh, everyone's talking, nobody's translating. We've lost the ability to listen. Listening requires humility. It means accepting that someone else might know something you don't. But we don't want knowledge. We want confirmation. We want echoes that tell us we're right. That's why people curate their feeds like art galleries of agreement. I only follow accounts that align with my values. Translation: I only want to hear myself talk with better lighting. Real listening takes time, and time is expensive in a world addicted to speed. We don't read articles, we skim headlines, we don't watch full videos, we watch clips with subtitles, we digest information like fast food. Cheap, quick, unsatisfying. Then we wonder why the world feels malnourished. You ever try to have a real discussion these days? You make one point, and someone interrupts with a meme. You bring evidence, they bring sarcasm. You ask a question, they send a link to a video they didn't finish. It's like trying to build a bridge out of confetti. The structure's pretty, but it collapses under thought. Noise feels safer than meaning. Meaning demands vulnerability. To say something meaningful, you risk being misunderstood, judged, or ignored. Noise asks for nothing but participation. That's why it's everywhere. You can't fail at noise, you just have to make it. People fill the air with chatter because silence might reveal they have nothing real to say. And the corporations love this state of confusion. The noisier the environment, the easier it is to sell distraction. They call it engagement, but it's really pacification. Keep the population busy arguing about the flavor of nonsense while the real decisions happen quietly, behind closed conference doors. It's not a conspiracy, it's marketing. Confusion sells because clarity ends the conversation. Even our personal lives are soaked in noise. We narrate our days out loud. I just woke up. At the gym, having lunch. Nobody asked, but we announce it anyway, because silence feels invisible. The tragedy is that the more we broadcast, the less we reveal. We share everything and express nothing. We've mistaken exposure for intimacy. And what's with this obsession over opinions? Everyone's got one, and they're treated like sacred relics. I'm entitled to my opinion. Sure you are, but that doesn't make it valuable. You can have a collection of spoons. It doesn't mean they're worth displaying. Opinions used to come after thought, now they come before facts. We start with a feeling and work backward to justify it. That's the irony of modern speech. We've multiplied voices and divided understanding. The volume went up, the clarity went down. We built a global megaphone without a filter for nonsense. Everyone's talking at once. And the few who actually have something to say can't be heard over the applause for outrage. Funny, we used to look to silence for wisdom. Now we fear it. We think if we're not talking, we're irrelevant. People rush to comment on things they haven't even processed. The speed of reaction outpaced the speed of reason. It's a relay race where the baton is misinformation and everyone's sprinting proudly toward nowhere. Look at public discourse. Every subject turns into a shouting match with footnotes of insults. We've replaced dialogue with dueling hashtags. Nobody's trying to solve anything. They're trying to score points. And you can't have peace when everyone's competing for punctuation. We punctuate our outrage with exclamation marks because question marks take too long to type. Even comedy, even truth got crowded out by volume. You can't sneak a thought into the public mind when the collective attention span resets every 15 seconds. We've become spectators of noise, applauding the rhythm but missing the melody. People say, "That went viral," as if contagion is the same as meaning. A virus spreads fast too. Doesn't mean it's good for you. The saddest part is how used to it we become. You walk through life surrounded by sound, notifications, ads, chatter, and your brain adjusts like it's background music. You stop hearing it consciously, but it shapes everything you feel. It's emotional pollution. You breathe it in and wonder why you're anxious. And when you finally get a moment of quiet, say your phone dies or the power goes out, you panic. The silence feels heavy, unnatural. That's when you realize how deep the addiction runs. We don't crave information, we crave interruption. Something has to beep, buzz, or blink just to remind us we exist. But deep down, you know the difference. You've had that rare moment, maybe late at night, maybe with someone who actually listened, where words slow down and something real happens. That's meaning. It's small, fragile, doesn't trend, but it feeds you. You walk away lighter, not louder. That's the conversation we're starving for, but too distracted to notice. Maybe we're afraid of what meaning would force us to confront. If we start talking about what actually matters, we might have to change something, our habits, our beliefs, our comfort zones. Noise lets us pretend we're engaged without risking transformation. It's activism without effort, communication without consequence. You want to test it? Try staying silent in a group. Just listen. Watch how uncomfortable people get. Someone will fill the space immediately, as if silence is a hole that needs plugging. We forgot that silence is an emptiness. It's the place where understanding grows. But we keep paving over it with chatter until nothing meaningful can take root. The whole system runs on that momentum. Keep everyone reacting so fast they never stop to think. Keep everyone talking so much they forget to feel. Keep the noise loud enough and nobody notices the emptiness underneath. The trick of modern society isn't censorship, it's saturation. You don't silence people, you drown them in options until their voices cancel each other out. So here we are, surrounded by words, starving for meaning. People crave depth but settle for volume. We built temples to technology but forgot how to pray to truth. You don't fix that with new apps or better microphones. You fix it by rediscovering stillness, by learning that saying less doesn't mean knowing less, by realizing that the loudest person in the room usually has the least to say. You can still hear truth in the world. It's just quieter now. It lives in the pauses, the questions, the thoughtful moments nobody retweets. It's in the teacher who listens to a kid instead of correcting them, in the friend who sits with you in silence instead of offering cliches. That's the sound of meaning. It's soft, but it's real. We've mistaken noise for life, but life isn't loud. Life whispers. It's the heartbeat under the chaos, the steady rhythm that doesn't need to shout to matter. You just have to tune out long enough to hear it again. The tragedy isn't that we lost meaning. It's that we stopped looking for it because the noise was more fun. You ever notice how everyone's a connected-y now? Every human being has a phone in their hand like it's a second nervous system, pulsing, glowing, demanding attention. We're plugged into everything. News, gossip, opinions, and advertisements for things we didn't even know we hated yet. And we keep calling that connection. That's cute, it's not connection, it's electronic dependency. We've built a global nervous breakdown and called it a network. You walk down any street and everyone's staring down, not up. The sky's been there for millions of years, but apparently the real magic is in a 4-inch screen showing someone's lunch. People bump into poles, step into traffic, and never even look surprised. They're just annoyed that gravity interrupted their scrolling. That's not evolution, that's digital hypnosis. The first rule of connection should be eye contact, not Wi-Fi. And the thing is, people believe they have more friends than ever. They brag about followers like they're running a small cult. I have 3,000 friends, really. Then why can't you find one person to help you move a couch? Because those people aren't friends, they're spectators. You're not living life, you're broadcasting it, hoping someone claps from another time zone. The world used to be loud with laughter, arguments, and conversation. Now it's quiet but buzzing, an orchestra of silent people typing to each other about how loud everyone else is. Families sit at dinner, each person in a different universe. The only thing they share is the Wi-Fi password. You ask someone a question, they don't answer. They Google it, as if human experience isn't enough unless confirmed by a search bar. Remember when people used to write letters? They took time. They thought you had to mean something to someone to spend 10 minutes forming sentences by hand. Now we send 3-word texts with the emotional depth of a parking ticket and call it communication. The latter replaced laughter, BRB replaced presence, and emojis became the new alphabet. We built language for efficiency and lost it to convenience. And what a performance we've made out of it. People edit their faces, their words, their entire existence. They're directors of their own personal documentaries. Except the plot's always the same. Look how perfect I am. You ever scroll through someone's page and think, when did happiness become a marketing strategy? Every selfie screams, I'm fine, which is usually code for I haven't slept in 3 nights and I'm out of cereal. But the show must go on. There's validation to collect. That's the illusion. The belief that constant contact equals closeness. We confuse activity for intimacy. People think a like is affection. A comment is connection and a tag is friendship. Meanwhile, the art of listening is on the endangered list, right next to patience and humility. You can't feel someone's tone through a screen. Sarcasm gets mistaken for hate. Humor gets misread as offense, and genuine concern comes off like spam. The nuance of being human doesn't fit neatly between hashtags. You meet someone new, and before you even shake hands, they ask for your handle. Handle? What a word. Like we're products on a shelf, something to grab, scroll through, and discard when bored. We've reduced relationships to user interfaces. Swipe left, swipe right. Dating turned into window shopping for souls. And then people wonder why love feels transactional, because it is. When you treat people like apps, you start deleting them for minor bugs. Here's the real joke. The more connected we get, the more alone we feel. We built the greatest communication system in history and used it to avoid talking. We can reach anyone, anywhere, anytime. And somehow we still miss each other completely. Someone posts, I'm feeling down. And instead of a phone call, they get a heart emoji. The gesture is sweet, but it's like tossing confetti at a funeral. It looks good, doesn't help. We've created a feedback loop of loneliness. You feel isolated, so you go online. You see everyone pretending to have fun, so you feel worse. Then you post your own pretend fun, so others feel bad. It's like a sadness pyramid scheme, but nobody gets rich. The only winner is the algorithm. It feeds on attention, and we keep feeding it like it's hungry for human souls. And it's not just social media. Even in person, people can't stop checking for digital approval. You're in a room full of people, someone's mid-sentence, and half the audience is scrolling like they're allergic to presents. The phrase equality time has turned into shared Wi-Fi. We've forgotten how to be bored. We've forgotten how to just exist without the need to announce it. You ever see someone at a concert recording the whole thing on their phone? You paid money to watch a tiny screen record another screen while the real thing happens 2 feet away. That's not memory. That's digital hoarding. You're never gonna watch that shaky, distorted video again. You'll upload it, forget it, and scroll past someone else doing the same thing next week. The experience was right there, but we've traded it for proof. Even conversation isn't safe anymore. You can't say anything without it being screenshotted, quoted, debated, or dissected. Privacy used to be all right. Now it's suspicious. If why aren't you online? Because maybe I'm living. People think silence means something's wrong, when it might just mean peace. But we've wired ourselves to panic at stillness. We can't stand being unplugged because we've mistaken the noise for life. And look at how fast it all moves. A thought barely forms before it's shared, judged, and archived. Reflection takes time. We've run out of that. The timeline doesn't wait. Opinions have expiration dates shorter than milk. You're expected to know everything instantly, respond immediately, and never contradict yesterday's version of yourself. Growth used to be personal. Now it's public property. We keep saying technology brings people together. Maybe it does, physically, but emotionally. It's like building bridges between islands while everyone still refuses to leave their own shore. We're connected by cables, not compassion. We share information, not understanding. Every device promises connection, but what it really delivers is distraction. The scariest part is how normal it feels. We're addiction. We've normalized addiction by calling it engagement. We measure worth in clicks and comfort in updates. People wake up and check their phones before checking if they're happy. And the companies behind it. They've turned loneliness into a business model. The longer you feel disconnected, the more connected they want you to be. To them. But here's the secret nobody likes to admit. Real connection takes effort. It's messy. It's inconvenient. It involves showing up when there's nothing in it for you. You can't download empathy. You can't like someone into feeling seen. You have to listen, understand, and sometimes shut up long enough to let someone else's truth breathe. But that doesn't trend well. It's too slow, too quiet, too human. We've built smart homes filled with dumb habits, fridges that talk people who don't. Cars that park themselves, drivers who can't park a conversation. We brag about artificial intelligence while real intelligence takes a nap. The irony is beautiful. Machines getting better at sounding human while humans get worse at acting human. And I'm not saying throw away your phone. I'm saying use it, don't live through it. A phone should be a tool, not a roommate. You ever leave the house without it and feel that tiny panic in your chest? That's withdrawal. The modern version of losing your wallet isn't losing cash, it's losing access. We're not guarding our identities, we're guarding our charging cables. And kids, they've never known anything else. They're born into the cloud. Their first steps are documented, their first words captioned. They grow up watching people talk through devices and think that's how you do it. You ask them to play outside, and they ask, is there Wi-Fi there? We're raising generations who might know how to code feelings but not feel them. Even adults aren't immune. We've replaced genuine friendship with networking, curiosity with scrolling, imagination with algorithms. We've become predictable because the system trains us to be. You like one thing, and it feeds you more of the same. Before long, you're living in a personalized bubble where every opinion mirrors yours. Connection isn't supposed to be comfortable. It's supposed to challenge you. But comfort sells, so we bought it. The thing about all this connection is how performative it's become. We're not communicating to understand. We're communicating to be seen. People share their grief, their joy, their outrage, not for expression, but attention. The line between authenticity and advertisement blurred somewhere between the selfie stick and the sponsored post. You can't tell who's living and who's just live streaming. And when tragedy strikes, when something real happens, we don't reach out. We react online. Thoughts and prayers, hashtags and filters, temporary solidarity. It's compassion theater. We grieve collectively but superficially. The screen gives us the illusion of caring without the responsibility of doing. Connection without consequence. But I get it. It's easy, it's quick, it feels good for a second. The dopamine hits, the notification pings, and you feel seen until it fades, and you need another fix. That's why we keep scrolling even when we hate what we see. We're not searching for information. We're searching for connection in all the wrong places. Imagine if we invested half that energy into the people around us. Imagine putting down the phone and actually listening and not waiting to reply, but to understand. You'd realize how rare it's become to be fully present. Presence is the new luxury. It doesn't require money, just attention. But attention's expensive and everyone's broke. We build a world where silence is awkward. Eye contact is rare and solitude is mistaken for sad. We forgot that connection starts with disconnecting. From the noise, the rush, the need to perform. You can't hear anyone else if you're constantly broadcasting. Real connection happens in the pauses, in the shared silence, in the messy, imperfect moments where no one's filming. And maybe that's the punchline. We built this vast digital web thinking it would bring us closer, but all it did was make us spiders tangled in our own threads. We move fast, talk loud, and end up stuck, each tug for attention making the whole thing shake. But somewhere in there, underneath the buzz and the glow, there's still a simple truth. We're human beings. We need touch, presence, laughter, unfiltered noise. You can't download that. You can only live it. So put the phone down once in a while. Look around. There's a whole world still happening without a screen telling you it's important. Talk to someone, really talk. You might be surprised how much connection you find when you stop pretending to be connected. Connected?